First, I will share the video. Then Harshad sir will comment on it. We'll talk on it.
Is human consciousness one? How is it that one person is happy and the other is unhappy? Also you say, thought is me. Please show me how. In human consciousness, if human consciousness is one, how is it that one person is happy and the other unhappy? And also you say, thought is me. Please show me how. Are you happy? And why is another unhappy? You are born rich, your grandfathers and grandparents have left you a factory or a business, and you are quite happy with it. And another is born in a little village, uneducated, toiling day after day on a piece of earth which is the size of this room or half the size of this hall, working on it, living on a pittance, and he's unhappy. He doesn't know about happiness or unhappiness. He's working. Does happiness depend on circumstances, on work, on what you are doing, or on your satisfaction in doing something? What do you call happiness? And what do you call unhappiness? Happiness can be said that when you are satisfied, I am satisfied in doing something and I feel very happy about it. And I am not satisfied in doing something and I am very unhappy about it. Is satisfaction synonymous with happiness? And am I seeking continuously satisfaction? Which means I'm seeking all the time gratification and I will be happy. So, or is happiness something that comes and goes, that's a byproduct, it's not very important? And also the questioner asks, thought is me. Show me how. What do you mean, show you how? On a screen in a television? or make a diagram, or show you verbally, which is you accept intellectually if the speaker explains, thought is me. Would you understand it? The speaker will explain. That is, he will describe, he will explain step by step. And will you see the truth of it? Or say, no, that's not the self. Self is something far superior. It's divine, it's Atman, it's something else. So how will you receive an explanation? Knowing the explanation, the description, the word is not the thing. Right? The window, the word window is not the actual window. Right? I can paint a mountain, but the painting is not the actual mountain. Right? So we can go into this together. I can't show it to you. I can't put it on a screen, television, and show it to you, there it is. But if we can together investigate, if you are willing, if you are bored with it, all right, be bored with it. So let us together find out, what are you? If you are really frank, serious, when that question is put to you, what are you? Aren't you your name? Aren't you your face, your eyes, your nose, your hair, and so on, physically? Aren't you the anger? Aren't you the greed? Or the greed is separate from you? Aren't you, when there is anxiety, aren't you that anxiety? When you are suffering, when one loses one's wife, husband, children, or grandmother, you know all that. Are you not suffering? And is that suffering something separate from you? Aren't you all that? Or do you think that you are separate from all that? Right, sir? Are you separate from all that? Are you separate from your anger, jealousy, from your bank account? Huh? You are your bank account, aren't you? Or if I take away your bank account, that's not me. Would you say that? You can take my bank account because it's not me. How you would howl if I took away your bank account. So you are your bank account. You are your furniture, you are your house, your insurance, your mortgage, your money. But if you say, I am not all that, there is something in me that is watching all this, is that a fact? or you have invented it. Many people say there is super consciousness above all this consciousness. That is that not invented by thought? Right? Is not your bank account, not the coin, not the note, all that is not the result of thought? Is not your recognition of your wife, your husband, isn't that thought? So aren't you all the memory of the past, all the tradition of the past? As a Hindu, as they say, Brahman, non-Brahman, all that business, aren't you all that? Of course you are. So, you are the knowledge which is the past. You are nothing but memories. Would you accept that? Of course not. Aren't you? If all your memories were taken away, what are you? You would be a vegetable. So your memories, which is always the past, is what you are. Your tradition, as a Hindu, as a Parsi, as a Muslim, and so on, that's the result of years of propaganda, years of tradition, which is the activity of thought. So you are thought. If you don't think at all, what are you? So you are the whole content of the past. That past is modifying itself in the present and continues as the future. So you are the past, the present, and the future. In you, all time is contained. Oh, you don't understand, doesn't it? And the self, the me, my name, my quality, my achievement, my ambition, my pain, my sorrow, is all the past. And so the self is the essence of the past, which is memory, knowledge. And therefore the self is very, very, very limited. And that's why the self is causing so much mischief in the world. Each self is out for itself. You are out for your own self, aren't you? If you are honest, see this clearly, aren't you out for yourself? Your ambition, your achievement, your fulfillment, your satisfaction. So, thought is you. Thought is limited because all knowledge is limited. Therefore, you are Your self is the most limited thing. And therefore you are causing enormous sorrow, enormous confusion. Because the self is separated, divisive. So, sirs, as the speaker has explained, the explanation is not the fact. The fact is for you to see this for yourself. If you see this for yourself and say, I like the way I'm going on, perfectly all right. But you know for yourself that you are creating havoc in the world. And you prefer to live that way? Good luck to you. But there might be some who say that's not the way to live. One must live with a global mind, brain, without any division, without any nationality, without any self. Don't make that into some kind of heightened illumination, only few can reach it. Anybody who sets his mind, his brain and heart to understand the nature of the self and be free of that self, anybody can do it if they put their mind.
Harshad sir, you can unmute and
Yes. Are you able to hear?
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening, friends. I'm supposed to speak a little bit about what we saw in the video. And Krishna ji is talking mostly, showing that the way we live our everyday life is nothing but thinking, thinker, ego, and that is what we know. And but some good questions Krishna ji is asking in this video. Is there something in me which is watching all these things, whatever thoughts, feelings, and then, but Krishna ji doesn't answer. He asks question. And another question Krishna ji asked, if you don't think, what are you? So, in a way, my answer will be that when our mind is not thinking, there is silence, there's a kind of awareness, and that awareness which can see whatever thoughts and feelings are arising within us, then that awareness is the real thing. But it seems to me that this awareness is not awakened in most human beings. It can be called intelligence, which can see whatever is coming within our mind, whether it's anger or fear or jealousy or loneliness. This awareness, when it is ignited, it can see very quickly whatever is happening, and that is the real thing. That is what in the end Krishna ji says, the global mind. that global mind is the mind which does not divide, which doesn't think that I am separate from the rest. So this is something is possible. Even Krishnaji says in the end, for people who are deeply passionate to observe their own mind, not in order to achieve something, but because it is very interesting to look. Like little children, they are interested in looking at everything, whether it is a flower or a butterfly, and they are not gathering knowledge about what they observe, and their eyes are very clear, and their mind is also very kind of not filled with so much knowledge. So when this awareness or intelligence comes in our life, we feel that there is something new. In everyday life, whatever we observe, whether it is a sunrise or a sunset or a moon or a flower or a tree, everything appears fresh, new, when this awareness is awakened, and the possibility exists in human beings for this kind of intelligence or awareness to come. But it requires a very, very passionate looking inwardly, not reading books about Krishnamurti and then thinking about it and then asking questions like what Krishnamurti means by this. That kind of questions are just gathering more knowledge of Krishnamurti teachings. And that knowledge, even if we have all the knowledge, very correct knowledge of what Krishnamurti is talking about, even then there will be no awakening of intelligence within us. And so I tell you something in Buddhism, that Ananda, who was Buddha's very close friend, and he used to go with Buddha wherever Buddha went, and Ananda had a very good memory, and he would remember everything what Buddha talked about. And later on, Ananda will tell other sannyasis what Buddha spoke. So Ananda, and he was a very nice human being. He was very, very helping, very affectionate, and Buddha also liked him very much. He was like a good friend. But when Buddha was dying, Ananda was crying, and he said that my teacher is dying and I have still not really got it, what Buddha was talking about. He had got all the knowledge. So it is not about gathering knowledge and concepts about what Krishnamurti says, about what consciousness is, and all that. That is good for scholars and people who want to write books and want to give talks. For them, they will prepare everything and connect one word with the other word and one concept with another concept. But that is an artificial flower. In that kind of learning, scholarly learning, and there is no fragrance. The real fragrance is in living and being alert to what is happening within us, even if there is any pride is coming, to see, be in touch with, any ego is coming, and that seeing, that intelligence, awareness is the real thing. As long as that has not happened in our life will be full of conflicts, fear, anger, jealousy, ambition, all that. Even Buddha's cousin, Devdatta, he could speak like Buddha, but and he was considered a very respected monk in the Sangha, and he could speak like Buddha, but he was not free. He had a jealousy. He wanted to take the position of Buddha. And when Buddha told him, Devdatta, you are not still prepared to take this Sangha on your own, Devdatta became very angry and he left Buddha and he left with his followers also. So, to be free from fear, anger, jealousy, loneliness, boredom, that is the real thing, not gathering knowledge about what Buddha has said or what Krishnamurti has said. And that means we have to watch carefully in every activity of our daily life. And the real learning ground is relationship with the people around, with the family, with the friends. And if there is any conflict, we have to look at what is conflict, what is fear. And as long as we have not come in direct touch with our own self, then all that knowledge, acquired knowledge, becomes a real block in really looking at ourselves as we are. And that is why I tell sometimes Dinesh ji, please don't repeat what Krishna ji has said. Speak from your own understanding. For all of us, if we are just reading out something what Krishnamurti has said and trying to explain, it's an intellectual learning. But real thing comes from spontaneously from within. And that is the real beauty. Maybe that is what affects some human beings. And Krishnamurti was not thinking so much about what to say next. Everything was coming spontaneously in a proper order because there was clarity, there was silence in him. And what he was saying was coming from direct insight. Even Buddha was saying whatever he was saying from direct insight. Same thing with Ramakrishna and Raman Maharshi. So that direct insight into our own self is most important thing. And that insight is the real freedom. And then we don't need to follow anybody. We don't need to repeat the words of other teachers. If we repeat the word maybe little bit, it's okay. But the whole chapter, the whole paragraph reading and then explaining, it doesn't seem very interesting to me, but it may be interesting to other people. So, about consciousness, different people are using different words about this consciousness. And Krishnaji doesn't answer in this video about the human consciousness is one. Is it really so? Is human consciousness is one? But in other places, he said that whether you are Indian or an American or a Chinese, you are a human being, and what is happening inside you, whatever, whether it is a anger or a fear or jealousy, the same thing is happening in Americans or Chinese or Persian or Arabic. So your consciousness is the consciousness of mankind. And to see this, we can understand this intellectually, but the real understanding will come only when we come in direct touch with our problems, whether it is fear or anger, conflicts, jealousy, and when we understand our ourselves, we can understand other human beings also. And we will listen very, very carefully, not interpreting what the other person is saying. So it requires a silence to speak, to listen, to look. And that is why Krishnaji very often asks this question, even to children: how do you look? How do you look at a tree? How do you look at the face of your friend or a wife or a husband? So there is something great in such questions which Krishnaji is asking, but the answer you have to find. And when you find the answer, then there will be not the intellectual answer, but the real answer. Then your looking will become something different. And you will also feel that something new has happened in your looking, listening, learning. So right now I have said enough things, and maybe Dinesh would like to speak, or anybody else. Thank you.
Dinesh Waghmare first.
Are you able to hear my voice, sir?
Yeah,
Yes.
we are able always.
With due respect to Harshad sir, he is 100% correct from his point of view. But before starting today's subject, I would like to say something which is also relevant to today's topic. On the last Thursday, a suggestion came out that I should speak only what I think, feel, and experience about the subject in question. Also, I should speak about my insight. Normally, whenever I speak, there is some insight in it, provided the other person goes deeply into it and go through it. He will definitely get something which is different from the other things. However, here I would like to say that everybody speaks as per his understanding, past working, and changes he felt in his perception after coming in touch with JK teachings. We may say that this is today's conditioning. We may say that this is his today's conditioning. This applies to me also. Now, as per one's personal development, one may get affinity towards a particular aspect of the subject. Like one may say that I like the statement adequate response and no adequate response. So definitely individuality is coming into picture. One may get understanding by seeing a tree without a recognition and working on his feelings and emotions. But other may get understanding by asking relevant questions and working on them. That is why our education system has also kept general subjects, and as per interest and liking of individual, one chooses the subject and proceed in the particular direction. The issue with the JK teaching is it is like a painting. From where he has started, JK started, and which color he has painted on that particular day, we don't know. So total JK's teaching, if we see, it's like a painting, and we actually we study as per the engineering drawing. Normally, our education system promotes studying the subjects as per the engineering drawing. Means they go technically, whereas Krishnamurti has described the things as per the art. So it is difficult to teach an art as compared to the engineering or technical things. But we have to see that still we can have some common points and some common idea, and we can teach the art also, which we normally see in the normally see. So I think I should also not perceive the world. So I think I should also not perceive the world as per my alone understanding, but should speak or cover the general aspects as much as possible, so that the other person may get the understanding as per his capability. Moreover, since we are using intellect as the tool, one should study as per today's system of education, or at least start with it and then go beyond it. Whatever I talk is also relevant with the today's subject, and we will see it. Coming to today's subject, what is the dictionary meaning of happiness? What happens in the case of Krishnamurti? Krishnamurti has used various words at various places with different meanings, and it is sometimes difficult to understand the context, or difficult to understand what is the relevance of that in the particular matter. So a new beginner, it is a very difficult thing. At least I face that problem. So one has to, and he has also used at various places this thing, that dictionary. Do you know the dictionary meaning of this particular word? Do you know the origin of this word, etc., etc.? So this dictionary meaning is very important as far as I am. My thinking is, because normally what we think about the particular word is as per our past development, means that is also as per our conditioning. So when it comes to JK, it becomes further difficult to understand JK. So one should be very clear about the aspects of the particular word. That's what I think. Dictionary meaning of happiness accurately describes the phenomena that leads to experience, joy, and pleasure. It is an emotional state characterized by feelings of joy, satisfaction, contentment, and fulfillment. Happiness is that feeling that comes over when you know life is good, and you can't help but smile. When people are successful or safe or lucky, they feel happy. Happiness, opposite of happiness is sad. Other things that JK has already mentioned in this, that satisfaction is very important happiness is concerned. According to my view, happiness depends on outer situation and inner perception of an individual. Outer situation and inner perception of an individual. So definitely individuality is coming into picture. Now the questioner asks, if human consciousness is one, why is one person is happy and other is not? This clearly means the questioner has not worked on the matter of consciousness is one. As per JK, the content of consciousness is consciousness. So the basic ingredients or elements are same, but the recipes are different. Means each individual has different character and personality, which is today's his final product of his past. Individual has to take care of his own assignments and liabilities. So each one has different quality of content of consciousness. So each one has got different quality of content of consciousness. Now, most important point is, one is experiencing happiness and other is experiencing unhappiness. So this is the case of duality of happiness and unhappiness. Whenever you are experiencing anything, you are in the field of duality. Means you are moving in the field of, you are moving in the horizontal field of polarities. Means mind is swinging between the two polarities of happiness and unhappiness. So the energy is having quality of movement of both, and this is not the ultimate oneness which we talk in spirituality. So it is clear that in case of content of consciousness, the quality of consciousness is one also and many also. Since the qualities are different, so many also. when we talk of one consciousness, then it is beyond. It doesn't come in direct experiencing, but is providing substratum to all the manifested world, to which we call as known. So this unknown energy or entity we do not know, which we can talk indirectly because of the known. Since we are experiencing known, that's why I can say that there is something we should be supporting this known as unknown. In this case, question of any experiencing doesn't arise as if it itself is beyond experiencing. However, when it comes to manifestation, it can experience both happiness and unhappiness, which we call fragmentation or division. So happiness is also a case of fragmentation. Whenever you experience something, it clearly means I is experiencing something, right? So when I is experiencing something, definitely it is experiencing in the horizontal field of polarities. So oneness, what actually JK talks or spiritual saints talk or other people talk, that oneness is not this oneness. Yes, if we take the case of sound and noise, then we can see that no noise or noise. You can experience both. So this no noise is quietness, we can say, but this is not the real silence, what normally people say. So one has to understand that if he has to go in such subject, he has to go deeply and he has to study it. Now when the question of again study comes, this how to study it? You need to study in a direct way like Harshad Parekh, or in indirect way like our education system uh, promotes, we can say, or it supports it. So both the options are available. It depends on individual how he wants to study. My suggestion is he should study in the both way. He should have the direct perception also of the situation. See without the tree, find out what changes he finds it in it. When you see the tree without name and recognition, of course there is a change in the environment. Now how many people are sensitive and can get that sensitivity and sense that change, it is up to them. So either that is the way, or if you start understanding intellectually also, if your understanding grows, then automatically the clarity will come, and that clarity also will push you to the result which Harshad Parekh sir was saying. So right now I want to submit this much only. Thank you. Then we will see.
Anybody else wants to say something? Pradeep Verma, sir.
Not of science, but on art of living. Somebody wanted to take art of living as a subject, not involving science and technology. Harshad sir, would you please explain this? Art of living.
Art of
Seems to
living.
be more important than
Ah,
science and technology and all these
yes.
technology. Yeah, please.
Yes,
Speak on it.
science and technology important. We have to study, and we can do very good work like Einstein or some other many scientists. I was also a scientist, and I was writing research articles, going to many international conferences, and I was speaking about my research related to lightning in the sky. And such lightning we can also create in the laboratory by applying very high voltage. So this all knowledge is very important for our daily life for generating electric power and transmitting it and using it in our house. So all that scientific research is good, but more than that is the quality of our life. Like when Fritjof Capra went to see Krishnamurti, Krishnamurti told him that first you are a human being and then you are a scientist. That means what is the quality of your life, your daily living, the quality of your mind, and that is much more important because there are scientists who are very good in doing very good work in the field of science, and they get many awards, they can get many prizes, but their life, family life, may not be good, may not be happy. They may have a lot of ambition, they may have jealousy, they may have pride, fear, all that. Because I know some scientists who were expecting Nobel Prize, and when they were not getting the Nobel Prize, they were very unhappy, very frustrated. So the quality of our mind, whether really it is free to do research also in the field of science, because when the mind is very good, very attentive, very silent, very curious, then that quality can be used to study science or history or geography or anything else. So, how does this quality of silent awareness come in our life? That means learning not about Krishnamurti's teachings, but about our own self. Because what Krishnamurti is talking about is not studying his teachings, because his teachings is nothing but about ourselves, our own life. So either we read a lot of what Krishnamurti has said, gather that knowledge, and then try to look, or we can forget everything what Krishnamurti has said and begin to look from where we are, what is happening in our mind at this moment, how the thoughts are coming. Are we really curious to watch our own mind? As people, generally, all the students, teachers, professors, they are very curious to know about the universe, to know about biology or geography or history, and they are gathering a lot of knowledge and writing a lot about it. They can write many books about war and peace, but are we able to observe the war going on within us in the form of conflict, in the form of ambition, jealousy, and all that? So that is why I gave the example of Nelson Mandela in one of these videos. That Nelson Mandela was in the prison for many years for political activity in South Africa. And finally, after many years, he was released from the prison. And at that time, a thought came to him that if he still carried the bitterness of the past, then he is still in the prison. So the real prison is the prison we create for ourselves when we don't understand, when we are not able to look at ourselves as we are, and we try to show something else, then there will be conflict. But when we speak or write exactly what we feel, what what how we live, then there is no conflict, and then the words will also come spontaneously, correctly. So this art of living, listening, looking, learning. This is a very, very important thing, and that is what Krishnamurti was talking with teachers and students, and even with professors and scholars. Because I think Krishnamurti did not like scholars who spoke from books, like that scholar, Buddhist scholar, Valpole Rahula. He came to discuss with Krishnaji, and whenever Krishnaji said something, the Valpola will say, Buddha also said like this. So Valpola was not listening to Krishnamurti, but he was comparing Krishnamurti with Buddha, and that was his profession, to compare as a scholar. So that is what Krishnaji did not encourage, a scholarly knowledge about his teachings also. Because he says, find out, don't accept, don't follow me, but find out for yourself. And then Krishnamurti says, you can challenge me if you find something which he is saying is not true. So this is something Krishnaji is throwing a challenge in every question, in every talk for many, many years, saying that don't accept what I'm saying, don't get mesmerized by his personality, and write down everything and explain and learn. Not like that. Connect with your own self as you are in every moment, if you can do, if you are really curious. And in that way, we can learn very quickly what Krishnamurti is saying, but not by reading so many books. And that is why Kabir, the poet, mystic poet, he did not study many, many books. He says, Poti padi padi pandit hua. Uh, pandit hua na koi,
जग हुआ
Dhai
मुआ.
akshar prem ka padhe so pandit hoy. So, learning about our own self in a direct way is the shortest way. But gathering knowledge of Buddha, Krishnamurti, comparison, that is not important at all. It may be important to some people who are wanted to make a profession out of scholarly teaching or writing. I am not interested. I am not a scholar. And I feel I don't want to be a scholar also. I want to really see myself clearly, not through the words of Krishnamurti, even. No doubt I have read his books, and then I have begun to look, but not by remembering what he said, but directly looking. And that is what I think very, very interesting. I find it. Okay, so this is the art of
Thank,
living to me,
thank
is
you.
how
Thank,
we live every day. Yeah, thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pradeep ji, please speak on art of living. No science and research, please. Pradeep ji, unmute. Gathering knowledge and delivering knowledge is another thing. I'm not interested in that. If somebody speaks from his heart, it's welcome. Pradeep ji, please do. Some problem in unmuting? Modak, please help Pradeep
He
ji.
is already unmuted, but he is not able to speak.
Is it audible?
Yeah, audible. Audible.
Because I was. Thank you very much. It started with the word consciousness. If consciousness is one, if consciousness is one, then why someone is happy and someone is not? Someone is happy. Dinesh said, quoting JK, that content of consciousness is consciousness. So the content, any content is itself limited. wherever it is. Any content is limited. I asked this question to Krishna, Professor Krishna, that what is consciousness before conditioning? You see, what gets conditioned? What is vulnerable that gets conditioned and becomes content in me? So he has deeply dealt in both the matters. What are you, or rather, what I am? I am a thought. My happiness related to everything is thought, memory, past. So these things, if I see it myself, what is happiness for me and how stable it is, how that happiness is stable, and what is happiness? Is it gratification and satisfaction? Then how it comes and goes, again, it comes to me. And this conditioning is related to it's very highly subjective in the sense it is related to time and space and the person exposed there. Because the first thing is that gives happiness is once you are out, survival is the first happiness. You see, once you know that you are living, then everything starts after that. So survival has n number of factors: time and space, locations, ecos, every system, environment, eco. So it comes back to me, as Harshad has already described, that it comes back to me when I am happy, how long I am happy. Is it called happiness? Is it pleasure or pain? If I am enjoying some pleasure, naturally, the other side is bound to be there. The moment that situation goes, I mean, slowly enters into great pain till I get it back. So that becomes habit. So these things are very clear, but I am the first person. I have to see it myself. What am I? He has very clearly talked about today. What are you? Are you not anger? Are you not greed? Are you not this thing? Are you not suffering? Ultimately, honestly speaking, you will know that I am all that in different conditions, different states of my consciousness. So simply saying that consciousness is one is something saying that energy is one, or say electricity is one, and people use it differently in different ways. And it all sorts of energy, biological energy, mental energy, all sorts of energy as per the usage. Intellect, intelligence. Harshadji was talking about the intelligence is when you can see yourself what is happening to me, something in me that sees everything. If that is aware, if that is awakened in each one of us, wonderful. You don't have to go to anyone. You don't have to read much, reading your own book. So this is so very natural and so very easy. So I have to refer it back to myself in all conditions, moment to moment, what is happening to me, what is happiness to me, what is consciousness to me. You are the world, it is open. You are the world, and world has millions of things. So to be in choiceless awareness, it sounds very good. There is no question about it. But in meantime, after the gratification of choice, there is a gap. So whether that gap is momentary peace, it gets filled, and that rhythm goes on. So I have to see it myself, and what he has told everything virtually about each one of us. So this is what I have to say. It's not difficult at all. You don't have to refer so many books, so many celebrities, so many. I don't know about Kabir, I don't know about Ramakrishna, I don't know anything about any one of these celebrities who have been praised a lot. So, but I know myself when I'm happy or unhappy or hungry. So this is not difficult at all. So this is all what I have to say, friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Adeen, please. Adeen, please unmute and say.
Yeah, can you all hear me?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So regarding science and the art of living, so a few days ago I had visited a science museum, one of the biggest science museums, and yeah, you could see the entire development of science in the different fields, and you could also see actual models which were used, say, in the rockets or in the space suits which were worn by the astronauts or the Russian cosmonauts, and all that we could see. So they had tried to capture the entire history of science and showed actual things which were used in science. And but then, of course, you could also see that in the development of rockets, how they were like how in war, how the war had, you know, started this technological competition in the development of rockets. Or you could also see in agriculture, like especially, you know, animals, like how the mass industry, there's a certain technique which is used in this mass industry of animals. So, of course, that technique, probably they have discovered a way of making things the most efficient with the lowest cost. But of course, you could also, when you saw that, or when you saw what the techniques were, you could also feel that, you know, it's not just science, there is no sense of art in it. So, um, so that is also the second part. So there is absolutely no, sense of connection with those animals. Or for when you're bombing the cities, there is no sense of connection with that, with the people. But I feel like maybe that has nothing to do with science. That has to do more with the ego, and the ego has to do with the profit in that sense. In this industry, animal industry. So I don't think so. You need the ego to pursue science. For science, you need the scientific mind and the mind or the heart probably are the same, I feel, because science is based on perception, listening, learning, finding out, and mind, something which also Krishnamurti talked about. So also the same things, a listening mind, a learning mind, a mind without division. So these astronauts who go out in space and they see the Earth from above, they don't see any boundaries. So that was also described, that when they go above the Earth, they don't see any nations, they don't see any boundaries, they don't see any words, they see just the Earth. And then they have this sense that it is one entire planet and not individual nations. Probably also because they are outside of all this bombardment of, India, 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 or America, 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 whatever, which happens when we are here, constant bombardment. So they are also outside of that. To me, these two minds, the silent, aware, listening mind, and the mind of the ego, or I consider it when thought interferes, that is the mind of the ego. That is what I feel. I don't know, like seems to be no connection between the two. So either we are able to listen to another person, or our ego mind takes over and we are not able to listen and we want to impose our opinion on the other person, or we feel those images are real, what we express through words. So I think always there's a chance to be in this heart mind or the listening mind, scientific mind, but somehow the habit of thought constantly seems to interfere, and the ego expresses or interferes or prevents that from happening. And Krishnamurti seems to be a reminder to us when we listen to him that no, don't get sucked into this ego mind. There is another way of living, another way of perceiving, which is more factual, which is more direct. And I don't see any relationship between the two, frankly. I don't think so. Both can exist at the same time. Awareness as well as this thinker or ego or the interference of thought. And always it is in the K circles, it is said that you need thought for the practical purposes. You need thought to write a letter. You need thought to talk. I don't think so. Your silent mind can also communicate and speak and use thought. This is always, I don't know, there's immense resistance to this, that maybe thought is not required to live in daily life. I find it, there's always immense resistance in the discussions. There'll always be counter argument. No, thought is required practically, but maybe a silent mind can also live practically. Who knows? I mean, you have to just find out. Yeah, and that's all I want to say. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Adeen. Prasad sir. Prasad sir, please.
Sir. Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
I find the use of science just now, because by meddling with my Zoom app on my laptop, I got it deleted. Not that I wanted it to be deleted, but it got deleted on its own.
But we see in place of you, Waghmare. Waghmare remains open always. So every time we see his face first. You are not.
So
go ahead.
So science has the definite technology has definite uses. Anyway, sir, so far as today's topic is concerned, there are two questions. One is a question: if human consciousness is one, why is it some people are happy and others are unhappy? For this question, K has not given a full answer or a direct answer. But he has not stopped from giving any answer. He has given an answer. He said, you are happy. Are you happy? You are happy. You are happy because you have got a business or a factory from your father, from your parents. And the other guy, he has got nothing. He is toiling on a small piece of earth, which is half the size of this hall. So, economic circumstances, economic inequalities, they play a role in seeing to it whether we are happy or unhappy or comfortable or uncomfortable. And again he said, what is happiness? He tried to he said, happiness is not something independent. It is like a byproduct. You can't get happiness by searching for it. So It is something that comes out of a full heart or as a byproduct of your other actions. When you are really sensitive, maybe you do an act of generosity and that may give you happiness. That is how I think he has answered that question. Then the next question is, you say, thought is your thought. How am I thought? I don't remember exactly the question, but it is related to thought. It's the role of thought. And he has given so many aspects of our life, saying, is it not thought? Is it not thought? Is it not thought? Your greed is it not thought? Your anger, is it not thought? Your memories, are they not thought? Like that. So it covers almost entire life. So thought is very important. It has a huge role in our life. And we are driven by thought almost. But then he has also said, I don't remember whether it is this video or some other video. He has also said, we want this thought to stop. But then because it gives you silence, you want that silent mind. Yes, you want a silent mind. But then, why do you want it? Why do you want a silent mind? Is it because you have seen the ugly role played by thought in life? Not simply the huge role, but the devastation caused by thought. Because thought is self, self is limited, because thought is limited, and it is a thought that is creating this isolation of a human being. A human being becomes isolated and it creates so many divisions, like your religion-based, nationality-based. All these consequences emanate from the role of thought. Thought has very good effects in its field. If you know the place of thought, yes, very good. If you don't know, even scientists who are famous, as Harshad was saying, they can be egoists. They can have bad family life and all that. Not that we, followers or admirers of K, we may not like that word followers, admirers of K. Not that we have all splendid family lives. Not that, but even eminent scientists may fail to have peace in their life. They may have name, fame, wealth, recognition, all those things, but maybe that inner peace is missing. This inner peace will not be missing only when you're free from greed, envy, and all those things, anger, nationality, it's all those things. It is only when you're free. And then one small difference I have with most of the people who have assembled here. That is, Krishnaji is talking of only the self with the small s. Whereas many of our gurus, traditional teachers, they are referring to self with the big S, a super self, which covers the entire universe, something like that. But he is limited to Krishnaji. I don't know why or how or whatever the reason. In his videos, I think he is limited to the human mind, the brain. So, like that. And then on this aspect of difference between the scientific mind and the artistic mind, scientific mind can be artistic mind. Artistic mind can also be scientific mind. There is no unbridgeable gulf between them. One can tackle the problems of the other area. But you must remember, as Harshadji was reminding us, that you are first and last, you are first a human being, then only a scientist. So, if you remember that you are a human being and then pursue your science, you will do immense good to the world. Otherwise, simple technology in the hands of man, who is unaware of himself, of his own problems, that can create a lot of chaos. It is creating a lot of damage. That is, I think, the regret of K all his life. That people do not remember that they are first and last human beings. They are first human beings, and then only anything. They are professionals, any type of professionals. That we don't remember. That is his regret, I think. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You are talking of small s, A double S, and big S, big A double S.
No, ACE.
I don't get you, sir. What is a double S?
A double S.
J, what is J double S? I'm sorry, I am a tube light.
Okay, okay. It's fine. Fine. Harshad Parekh, sir, please answer question raised by Adeen. No, sir, please let Harshad Parekh speak first. From Adeen to Prasad, sir. Please say, Parekh, sir. You have to answer the question raised by Adeen to Prasad, sir.
Yes, it is very good what Adeen said, that thought can come from silence also. And without silence, if thought can create a lot of disorder in our life, but this silent awareness, which can see what thought is doing, as long as that awareness exists, thought doesn't create any problem. And Krishnaji talks a lot about the mind, the problems, but also Krishnaji talks about that there is a possibility of seeing it clearly, which he calls choiceless awareness. And with that awakening of choiceless awareness or intelligence, we can do whatever we need to do as a scientist or a lawyer or any doctor, engineer. All these are secondary. Our work as a professional is secondary. The important thing is what is the quality of the mind, which is doing engineering or science or anything. So that is one thing. And I would say that to be really happy, one needs to have a healthy body, and a healthy mind, that the mind is not having many negative thoughts, jealousy and anger and fear and all. And the real happiness is when we don't have the sense of this ego or me, and we are just living, looking, learning without the self, entering into it. And that probably it seems may be possible for human beings. But once in a while, the ego may come. But when this awareness is on, it can see even the ego which has come, and then it's not harmless ego. So, in the light of awareness or intelligence, all our problems are dissolved. It doesn't mean that we are completely free, but if any problem comes, there is watching of it, and that seeing is the action which dissolves the problem. So the important thing is ongoing, effortless awareness. And if when it becomes natural, then we don't need to do anything. Otherwise, we need to keep on working at it. But when this becomes a natural awareness, effortless awareness, everything becomes easy, enjoyable, and everything, learning becomes very enjoyable. And I think this is the most important thing human beings need to learn, but I don't know whether it can be taught. Because even in Krishnamurti schools, that dimension which Krishnamurti talked about, choiceless awareness or intelligence, it doesn't exist because there is no passion for it in students, teachers. They have a different priority. Each human being has a different priority. So when your priority in life is to really look very carefully at your own mind and see what is and go beyond what is, that is a real freedom. And that is very, very few people are interested, but it is possible for human beings. Okay, I have finished. Thank you.
Thank you. Waghmare, you can go on now. No problem.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Actually,
you can
if
go,
we see,
you will say 130 also.
yeah, there was a issue. What is the art of living and what is the art of living? Art, basically, if you see any picture or any construction you see, normally in both the cases, whether it is art or whether it is science, the whosoever the making it has got the complete picture in his mind first, comes first in his mind. Then when we see how he starts the art, normally he starts from the boundary. So he starts from the boundary, and then he comes inside. That is what the art is. And in case of science, you start from the center. You make the center lines, and then you make the complete picture of whatever you want to make. Another difference in art and science is, in art there is a mysticism, and it once an art is made, it cannot be, or most normally it is not repeated. Whereas in engineering or in other places, as you also know about the building drawings, the past record is always kept, and then there is some modification or some guidance can be given, so that drawing can be changed, or you can guide somebody that you put out that particular drawing and just make these modifications and give it to me. So that is possible, which I have also done in my this thing in service. So there is a difference between art and this science. In particular, this if we see now, there is also in science there is a sort of order. There is a sort of order. If you see the engineering drawing or you see the other machine drawings, there is a sort of order. It is not, we can't say that this is abruptly made or something like that. Whereas in case of art, whosoever is making the art, whatever perception he is having, that is put on the paper. So it is a very, both the things are quite different. If you see from the inner point of view, or the person's point of view who is making those things, the total their making or their thing, this thing is different. One is skill. You can say that art is a type of skill, whereas in engineering you can make the things by robots also, or you can program it robots and then they can make it. Whereas in case of whereas in case of art, you can only repeat the designs once the design is final. So these are the differences. And another thing for socialians of you, for you, कुछ तो है तेरी हस्ती में जो तेरा नाम आ ही जाता है, पता नहीं तुझसे क्या मोहब्बत है. Thank you.
Thank you. Let us end this mohabbat and paint ASS. Thank you. Modak, please end it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.